All right, review for Chapter 9 test. Okay, so it says here use substitution method. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to plug it in for y right here. Now, I could have set the second one equal to y, but the first one's already done for me, so why not, save the step? So that means I'm going to have 3x plus, now in parentheses, I'm going to substitute in negative 2x minus 9. Okay, this is the y equal to negative 14. So 3x plus y, this is y, equals negative 14. So the parentheses really don't mean anything because of the plus, so it's really just 3x minus x, which is x. I'm going to add 9 to both sides, and that gives me negative 5. Once I have the negative 5, I'm going to plug it into either one. It's just easier right there. Negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10, and that minus 9 is 1. So that is negative 5, 1. Okay, over here, this is already solved for x, so the easiest thing to do is to bring it and plug it in right there. So 3 parentheses. Parentheses definitely matter here because you're distributing 2y minus 1 minus 2y equals that negative 3. So make sure you distribute to both. 6y minus 3, most common mistake is 6y minus 1, minus 2y equals negative 3. So that's going to be 4y. When I add 3 to the other side, I get 0. Now some people see the 0 and go, oh, no solution. Nope. You can still divide by 4, and if you type this in the calculator, you will get the answer 0. That is a logical and real answer. When I plug that back in to either one, I'm going to plug it back in here, just easier. 2 times 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So my point is negative 1, 0. Now this one I can use, I'm using combination elimination. Easiest thing to do right here is make one of these negative, because I already have 3x and 3x. Sure, I could make this into negative 4y by multiplying by negative 2. I can do that. The easiest way, though, is just to make one of them negative. So I want to make this one negative, negative, and make this positive. Doesn't matter. I could have done it to the second one and made it negative 3, negative 4, negative 1. So here, those cancel. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 13 plus 1 is 14. Divide by 2, 7. When I plug that back in, I can plug it in back to either one. Doesn't matter. 2 times 7 is 14. Okay. When I subtract that, I'll have negative 27. Divide by 3. X is negative 9. Again, if you need to see that, that's 3x plus 2 times 7 equals negative 13. This is 14. When I subtract 14 from both sides, that's going to give me negative 27. Divide by 3, I get negative 9. Now here I have to do a little bit of work. I have to decide, do I want to do 15 and negative 15 or 6 and negative 6? I already have one positive and negative, so I'm going to lean there. I want to go for 6 and negative 6, but either way works. So times 2 and times 3. So that's going to give me 6x, negative 6y, and 24. That's going to give me 15x plus 6y equals 18. Cancel. That's going to give me 21x equals 42. X is 2. I'm going to plug that back in either one. Doesn't matter. If I plug it in here, I get 10. I subtract, get negative 4. Divide by 2, I get negative 2. Again, on the test, you should show your work of plugging back in, doing all the work, but I just walked you through it. So 2, negative 2. Here you get to choose, but elimination is really going to be easier here because you already have a 4 and negative 4. So if I add straight down, I'm ready to go. 9 minus 7 is 2y. 13 minus 19 is negative 6. So y is negative 3. I plug that back into either one. I would be careful if you plug it in here, you're going to get positive 21. If you plug it in here, you're going to get negative 27. Just pay attention to that. You're going to get x equals 2 when you're done. And there you go. Now this one, it doesn't matter. You can choose 15, negative 15, or 36 and negative 36. Your choice. The 36 one's already positive, negative, but 15 smaller numbers. It's really personal choice. I'm going to go with 15, negative 15. Keep the number smaller. I'm going to choose to make this one negative 15 and this one positive. So that's going to give me negative 15x, negative 3, it's going to give me negative 12y, and negative 3 times that is going to give me positive 90. Negative times negative. Here, 15x minus 45y, 9 times 5, equals 5 times 18, well, sorry, negative 18. So it's going to give me negative 90. Again, when I add straight down, yes, I'm going to end up with 0, and that's okay. And I'm going to end up with negative 57y. When I divide, yes, I get an answer. It's not no answer. It is 0. When I plug that back in, I'm going to get negative 6 here. So it's really pretty easy. If you plug it in here, it's kind of like the cover-up rule. Divide by 5. There's your negative 6. Okay, so this is a flat rate and a variable rate. So it doesn't matter what you say. You can make it either way, whatever you want. It says in the spring they redid my lawn. It cost me $200 for a 2-hour job. So I'm going to say X is per hour and Y is flat rate. Doesn't matter which letter you make it as long as you label it. So a 2-hour job, that's 2 per hour plus the flat rate equals 200. And then 4 hours plus the flat rate equals 350. And the easiest thing to do here is the smaller one, just make negative. Cancels. 2x equals, be careful, that's 150. So x is 75. Then you just plug it back in. 2 times 75 is 150. Subtract that from 200, gives you that. So this is the per hour rate, and this is the flat rate. Okay, and there will be one just like this in the test. And then you have classic coin. Remember, this is 0.05, not 0.5, and this is 0.10. Okay, so first off, you have 300. So I'm going to say X is nickels and Y is dimes. It doesn't really matter which one you make it. Okay, so number of nickels plus number of dimes equals the total number. The value of nickels plus the value of dimes equals 2625. Okay, now there's 2 ways to go about this problem. I'll show you both. Some people prefer one over the other. Okay. So some people like to have no decimals. So if I do that, if I multiply the bottom by 100, okay, decimal moves 2 spaces. So what I end up with is just simply 5x, 10y, and 2,625. Okay. And then you just choose what you want to get rid of by multiplying this one here by negative 5 or negative 10. I'm going to do negative 5. That's going to give me negative 5x, negative 5y equals negative 1,500. That's going to give me 5y equals, so 2625 minus the 1500 is 1125. And when you divide by 5, you're going to get 225. Now all you do is plug that back in here, subtract from 300, and you find out that this is how many nickels you got. Okay, actually I'm going to put this over here. So I was going to show you the other way, would be just to multiply by either 0.05 or 0.1. I like to do negative 0.1 because it's easy, you just move the decimal. So negative 0.1, negative 0.1, and negative 0.1 would make this negative and put the decimal right there. Now when I add, I'm going to have negative 5 cents here equals negative $3.75. But then when I divide by negative 0.05, I end up with my answer. So just a couple choices of ways to go about that problem, whatever is most comfortable for you. All right. So first off, we need to do is set up our augmented matrix. I'm going to do both of these right here. So negative 4, negative 5, negative 1, 18, negative 2, negative 5, negative 2, 12, negative 2, 5, 2, and 4. Over here, there's going to be negative 1, negative 5, positive 1, and 17. Negative 5, negative 5, 5, and 5. 2, 5, negative 3, and negative 10. Okay, so those are our matrices. So, our calculator. We hit second matrix. Go over to math. Go up to RREF, not REF. Hit enter. Hit alpha solve. Sorry, alpha zoom. This is already set for 3 by 4, so I'm just going to go down here and accept that. And now I'm just going to put my numbers in. Be careful as you're entering them, especially with the negatives. Make sure every key gets hit. And you're just hitting right every time. Now you can see I just made a mistake. So I forgot to hit arrow right. So I'm going to clear that one out. Well, I just cleared the whole thing. Whoops. So negative 4, arrow over, negative 5, arrow over, negative 1, arrow over, and then 18. Now when I arrow over, it's going to just take me down to the next spot, negative 2, negative 5, negative 2, and 12. And then negative 2, 5, I just hit 2, 5. This is why we double check everything, 2, and 4. And before I hit enter, I'm going to double check all my numbers. So negative 4, negative 5, negative 1, 18, negative 2, negative 5, negative 2, 12, negative 2, positive 5, positive 2, positive 4, enter. And there's my important numbers on the side, negative 4, 0, 2. Just like that. And that's my answer. X, Y, Z. Well, no, it's actually not. If you clearly look at the video, you see that this is a negative 2, not a positive 2. So that's it. Okay? So, if you feel comfortable with this, you can skip this part. I'm just going to do this one again. And the more you practice it, the better it is, the easier it is. So, RREF, alpha zoom, everything's okay. Negative 1, negative 5, positive 1, 17. Keep arrowing over. Don't hit enter. Negative 5. If you hit enter, not a huge deal. You just got to start over. 5 and 5. And then 2 5, -3, and -10. Now notice it didn't register once, so that's why we double check. So I'm double checking right now. -1, -5, 1, 17, -5, -5, 5, 5, 2, 5, -3, -10. Enter. And there's my numbers right there. -1, -4, -4. And remember, this is how you show your work on the test, writing on that augmented matrix. All right. Remember on this one, I suggest you rewrite it like this. So you're in the habit of setting up your matrix correctly, that the y always goes on the right side. So all we do is take each one. So I have -1, 9. I have 2, 6, and -2, 18. Remember, pay close attention if you ever have an x that's negative. So we're just plugging in right here. So that's -1 squared a -1 b. This is always 1 equals the 9. Then 2 squared a plus 2b plus 1c equals 6. And then again, -2, be careful of that one, squared a minus 2b, remember, pay attention to that negative, plus 1c equals 18. Now we do the math. Please, for the umpteenth time, remember, this is going to be positive 1a minus 1b plus 1c equals 9. 4a, 2b, 1c, 6. And again, positive 4a, but minus 2b plus 1c equals 18. Now, just like the last problem, I just do my augmented matrix. So 1, -1, 1, 9. 4, 2, 1, 6. 4, -2, 1, 18. Okay, I'm not going to enter this in the matrix again because I think we've done enough of those. You need to watch the previous problem. Now when I do that, I'm going to end up with something that looks like this. 2, -3, 4. Now those are not my x, y, and z this time. Those are my a, b, and c. So 2x squared minus 3x plus 4 equals 0, or y. Now here's the beauty of this problem. You can go to your y equals, and you can enter this in. So there's 2x squared minus 3x plus 4. Don't graph it, just go to the table. And now look and see, do you have -1, 9? Yes. Do you have 2, 6? Yes. Do you have -2, 18? Yes. You can see all three of these points in your table for this equation, which is a way to double check and make sure you have it correct. Right? Now, on this one, I'm going to skip the step and you go right to the second problem. So 0 squared is 0a, and then 0b is just 0b, and then this is always 1c equals 7. 1 squared plus just the 1b plus just the 1c equals 12. Careful, -1 squared is 1, but then this is minus 1, this always is 1, and 16. So when I do my augmented matrix, I'm going to have 0, 0, 1, 7. Yes, zeros count. 1, 1, 1, 12. 1, careful, -1, positive 1, 16. Again, I'm not going to put this in. We've done this enough. But what I get is 7, -2, and 7 like that, which means 7x squared minus 2x plus 7 equals 0. And again, I'm not going to do it, but if I change these numbers to 7x squared minus 2x plus 7 and then went to the table, I would see that these 3 points are all there. And I know I have it right before I move to the next problem. Okay, first thing we need to do here is identify points. So this is 1, 2, 2, 5, 4, 5, and 5, 2. And we're going to plug that in to those 3 points. So 2x, 4y. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 4 times 2 is 8. That's 10. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 4 is 20. And then 2 times 5 is 10. And 4 times 2 is 8. So that's 18. So my maximum is at, and be careful, I put maximum first here. Always read the letters, the words. So my maximum is at 4, 5. And it's worth 28. The minimum is at 1, 2. And that's worth 10. Okay. It can also be written minimum is 10 at 1, 2. Okay, working backwards. What mixture of belts and wallets will make the most profit? So we're looking up here for profit, and the word is right there. So that's 18x, 12y. Okay, well that tells me that I'm making x my let's see, belt, because it says belt is 18. That is my wallet. So that means I put belt here and wallet here. Now that I have that, I don't need this anymore, and I don't need this anymore. And I really don't need anything up here. Now I look at the problem, and it says both belts and wallets require cutting and sewing. Well, cut, sew, just write it down. And now you're filling it in. It says belts require 2 hours of cutting and 6 hours of sewing. Done with that. Wallets, 3 cutting and 4 sewing. Done with that. The cutting machine is only available 12 hours. Sewing machine is only available 24 hours. That's the maximum, so less than or equal. Now we come down. Here's my first. Here's my second constraint. Always put these. Now we graph. So I'm going to use a cover-up method. If I cover up the 2x, I don't know what happened to my bottom line here. So let's put that on there. All right, so if I cover up the 2x, that gives me 3y, 12, so y is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I cover the 3y, that gives me x is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, that is down 4 and right 6. So that's down 2 and right 3. So that gives me another spot to connect. The more spots you have, the better it is. Okay, I'm going to try to make sure that's perfect. So again, we use straight edges and I'm going through all those points. Now, I'm going to test it. I'm going to test 0, 0. 0 is less than or equal to 12. If I plug in 0 here and here, it makes it go away. That is a true statement, which means I'm going to shade simply that way. Now my next one, I'm going to cover with the 6x, divide by 4, y is 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I cover up the 4, x is 4. Okay, which means I went down 6, right 4, which means I went down 3, right 2. That gives me a nice line. Okay, and now I can identify my, oh, I need to test 0, 0. So 0 is less than 24. That is true. So I'm going to shade everything here. Where's my area? My area goes from this point here up to this point here to this point here down to 0, 0. So it's that odd shape right there. So what are those corner points? 0, 4, 4, 0, 2, 3, and 0, 0. Now we're trying to maximize cost using 18x and 12y. So 18 times 0 is 0. 12 times 4 is 48. 18 times 4 is 72. Plus 0 is 72. 2 times 18 plus 3 times 12 is actually 72 also. And this is 0. So we actually have a choice. They both maximize 72. So you could do 4 belt and 0 wallets for a profit of 72. Or you could do 2 belts and 3 wallets for a profit of 72. So the manufacturer just decide which one they want to do. They get the same profit out of either one. All right, last one. How many pounds to maximize profit? Well, there's only one line of profit here. It's 12 and 8. So 12x plus 8y. I'm done with that line, and actually that one too. Not very creative naming, so x and y, x and y, x and y. Now, reading the problem. I have vitamin A and vitamin B. It says a diet is to include at most 150 of A and 480 of B. I'm done with that line. And it's at most, so it looks like that. Now, type X contains 10 of A and 80 of B. Type Y has 30 of A and 60 of B. That's everything. So remember, if you want to put X and Y here, you can. So 10X plus 30Y less than or equal to 150. 80X plus 60Y less than or equal to 480. And don't ever forget these special two. I'm going to do the cover-up method. If I cover up 10x, y is 5. Again, I don't know what happened to my line here. So y is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I cover up the 30, x is 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I want to do a straight edge, but I'm also going down 5, right 15. So that's 1/3. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. That really helps if you do that. And again, the more points you put, the easier it is to line up and get all the points. Okay? And then I'm going to come back up and test. 0, 0 is the easiest one. That gives me 0 is less than or equal to 150. That is definitely true. I'm shading just like that. Nothing too complicated. Now I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to cover with the 80. So divide by 60. y is 4. Cover up to 60, divide by 8, x is 6. Okay, there was a technical issue. I accidentally put y of 4 here when it should have been y up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it should have been y of 8. I went to correct it and somehow it got cut out. So there's the 8. Then x is 6. Shade underneath. Okay. You end up with your area right here. Okay. Here are your 4 corner points, 0, 0, 0, 5, 3, 4, and 6, 0. Plug them into the equation. You get these 4 numbers. We're looking for the maximum. This one just barely beat this one out. So instead of doing 3 of x and 4 of y, we're doing 6 of x and none of y. And that's it.